I'm Mark Hagan, and how many of you guys were at WooCommerce last November 2014? Who was here? A few people? It was a much smaller, more intimate group at that point. This is incredible, the showing, so thank you everyone for being here. One thing that I wanted to note to you guys is kind of the purpose of this talk, kind of where it came from, is whenever I was at that conference, one thing I took away is that WooCommerce puts design first. And we at Heartland at that time had your kind of, I would call it a generic payment form. Credit card number, expiration month, CVV, that kind of thing, right? Pretty standard looking stuff, but not what merchants of the size that Heartland would typically work with are going to be looking for. Give you a little bit of information on Heartland. We have lots of integrations with lots of different gateways. Those gateways, with lots of different, we have a gateway integration with lots of different platforms. Those platforms are completely unique. The type of merchant that's going to use WooCommerce is not the same type of merchant that's going to use Magento, for instance. So I challenge each of you to make sure that you know your customer better than anyone else, and your needs for their payment experience are going to be unique. So today's agenda, we're going to go through some goals, assessing what exists for your company, how we did our iteration. So from WooCommerce back 18 months ago until today, the iterative process that we went through to make our payment experience actually helpful to our clients. So let's get into the goals. Make sure that everything that we launch is going to convert shoppers into buyers. You want to make sure that your experience converts people. If you give people a reason to leave, they're going to leave. That's 101. And I'll give you a few tips in there, such as, if you don't have coupons, don't put a coupon box on your website, because people are just like me, are going to go Google it every single time to try to find the retail may not, or we're gonna find some coupons for your site, which makes us leave, right? Reduce friction every chance you get. So some examples of friction would be if I built a credit card form and I ask you for your credit card type before I have you type in your card number. Well, if I have your card number, I know what type of credit card it is. It's just a regular expression, right? So one other thing that we care about is reducing the PCI scope for merchants. So as a merchant, you should be doing things like not letting credit cards ever touch your website for any reason. And there's a lot of ways that you can do that. And they're so easy, it's ridiculous. So if you're not doing those things, start doing those things. Make sure it's beautiful. People like a UI that matches a UI. So if you have a WooCommerce store, which traditionally is beautiful, and you have a payment experience that looks like 1997, people are going to notice that, and it's going to either throw them off and make you think, this guy might not be reputable, and that's where stuff like trust badges comes into play, things like that. Also, we want to make sure that we encourage repeat purchases, and by doing that, that'd be like saving a credit card on file. Seems like such an easy thing. So what I'm going to do next is relaunch that. There we go. We're going to assess what we had. So I told you I had a really ugly credit card form, right? This is not that credit card form, but it's very close. This actually came from Virtumart, which is, we have some merchants on. It's more of a legacy platform, obviously. You'll notice a few things. Why do I need to know the card type? I really don't. I don't need to know the name on the card either. That's pointless. And in the credit card world, billing zip code's the only thing required for AVS to give you the lowest interchange rate. So ditch all the stuff you don't need. Expiration date, 2010, seriously? What year is this? So it's the little things. There's nothing on this thing that says, the Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. Your customers are looking for those logos. They're just as important as your Better Business Bureau badge that you're putting on there. Your customer service phone number, things that add trust, build trust that this is legit. I'm going to put my credit card in this thing. It better look legit. So here's the first iteration that we did. Take the credit card number, credit card fields there, the images, move them up. Say, hey, this takes credit cards. That's exactly what this does. Ditch the fields that we don't need. Correct the expiration year and maybe even bump it up to the correct line so it doesn't wrap down. Next iteration we did is we took single-use tokenization and added it in. Most of the vendors that you guys are talking to gateway-wise around here have single-use tokenization today. Use it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. You should be using it. And most of our plugins for WooCommerce have that baked in. It's phenomenal. Just adding that will reduce your PCI scope dramatically from SAQ AEP, potentially down to the SAQA. So one of the things that we did that is unseen by your customers is we added advanced fraud. So that your customer says, hey, successful order. But in reality, we might have triggered an email to the store owner and said, there's some fishy stuff about this transaction. Go back and look at it through your virtual terminal, decide if you actually want to take that payment. That's one example of not having friction at the checkout. Change the field names and the field types. And I'll give you an example of that. If you name your fields correctly, or ID your fields correctly, and set the correct type, if I'm on my iPhone and I click a credit card field, you better believe it needs to have the number pad come up versus have anything else, right? So if it brings up a keyboard and I have that extra step of now clicking the icon for this is a phone number, so I need to type in the digits, it's not a good experience to have. Also, if you name your fields correctly, whenever you're on an iPhone device and you're behind an HTTPS server, it'll actually allow you to take a picture of your credit card and automatically populate all the credit card fields. So not used by a heck of a lot of people, but every little edge case like that builds, and you just keep building and iterating and continuously doing new things on your form. Next thing we did is we gutted that ugly form. I hired designers, and they came in and made it pretty. One thing that I have very much learned over this is that our merchants want something that matches their existing UI. So whenever I talked about make it effective, make it pretty, this is what I'm talking about. So add some padding, make it look like the rest of your website. Don't redirect to another web server and come back. Explain where the CVV is. Anytime somebody sends you an email asking for something, there was probably 5 people who didn't, and most people aren't going to know what that is. But hopefully by now they might, but it's definitely more common to understand that. So let's talk about some more visual things that we did after that. Let them save their credit card on file. If I'm trying to buy from you while I'm at work and I have to get my credit card out, everyone knows I'm shopping at work, right? Like, give me the opportunity to sneakily buy something whenever I'm supposed to be working. Allow them to buy on their iPad so that if I'm sitting on my iPad, I don't have to get my credit card out, punch it in, and iPhone should be the same experience. Make it seamless, just the default. And then next time they show up, then you can convert them by having, I want to pay with my MasterCard ending in 4444 versus typing it in again. Repeat purchases is the key to these credit card forms. Also, I wanted to talk a little bit about alternative payments. There's quite a few here. Let your customers pay you however your customers want to pay you. If you want to give me money, I'll find a way of taking it, right? So if your customers are using Amazon payments, have an Amazon payment link on your page, right? If they want to pay you with a credit card, let them pay with a credit card. If they want to use PayPal, let them pay you with PayPal. So Heartland, just like a lot of the other acquirers, we're one of the top 5 acquirers in the United States. We've partnered up with a lot of these folks. So you would get one statement, right? Your PayPal transactions and your credit card transactions, single statement. These things exist, but nobody knew to ask about it. So it's just one of those things that let people pay you however that they're going to pay you, and you're going to get more money. It just kind of makes sense. Always have PayPal, by the way. It's one of those little caveats I like to throw in there because there's a certain small segment that will only pay you with PayPal. And a lot of other folks are going to, if that's an option, they'll pay you with it. If not, they'll just go to credit card, right? So have that option for them so that you don't lose those potential customers or generate an email and something like that. So let's put it all together. You've assessed your current situation. You've looked at your shopping cart. You've bought stuff from your own store. Do that early and do it often, and make sure every time you iterate, you do it again. That should be part of your testing process with every UI, UX change that you make, is go through and rebuy from your stores. It's still easy, probably, maybe a little easier, but if it's worse, roll it back. Solicit feedback from your customers as often as you can. We do this a lot. Every iteration that we do, we ask for feedback from GitHub. Our plugin is on WordPress.org, and we did that because we are also open source. We're on GitHub. So I wanted our developers and our merchants developers to be able to grab it, make changes, solicit pull requests, get that developer feedback going rapidly. Measure your success. Making changes, even the ones that I've mentioned in these slides, may not work for your exact scenario. Know your customers, know how they buy from you. If they're repeats, if you're doing, if you're in Woo subscriptions and there's certain functionality that your people are asking for that may not exist in a certain payment gateway, make sure you know that and work around those things so that you continue to get money. Not all payment experiences are created equal. Not a lot of people realize this, but there are gateways, there are processors. Those are exclusive. A lot of times you'll have an authorized.net merchant who processes with Heartland on the other end. It's a really strange market. Taxes, payments, and shipping. Those are the weirdest things you're going to run into in the e-commerce world. Make sure you find an expert on those things. Help guide you through that process. It's not a difficult process, but it is one that if you don't know what you're doing, it's really easy to just get stuck paying too much on a platform that doesn't meet your needs. Use an automatically updating product. We have ours on WordPress.org. So we push changes probably weekly on average. Changes vary from UI stuff, simple UI fixes, to new functionality. So make sure you take advantage of that. Here's a couple of additional things that I like to throw out there. Make guest checkout. I think there was an article from early 2000s about the $300 million button from Amazon, where it's, we implemented guests, and all of a sudden we get a ton more purchases because people don't want to create an account with you. Some do, but many don't. Remove the coupon option if you don't do coupons. If you do coupons and maybe you're going to turn them off for a month because it's not your season, remove the field. Add trust badges and logos. Those are card brands. This will be your better business. Make sure that your customer service, anything you can do to build trust in your customers, are going to lead to a completed payment. And we see this every single time where you have all these extra things that you're trying to collect and coupons you're trying to gather. Don't bother. Remove as much as you can while still giving your customers the experience that they would expect on a checkout. Credit card number, done, right? Get as close as you can to that, but build trust through logos. Make your customer service contact simple. We covered that. Show reviews and testimonials. So this is big. There are companies here. There are companies all throughout this conference you're going to talk to that specialize in this sort of thing. Work with those experts. They're going to help you solicit reviews, teach you the process of doing that. But make sure that those reviews are available because they're very important. And I know, like all of you, I actually do read at least the top 5, 6 reviews. So have those reviews for people to read. So if you guys would like to learn anything in addition to that, you want to come chat with us, we've got a booth right behind you. Booth number 10 is irrelevant because there's no numbers on any of the booths, but we're just back here in the mix. Come see us. We love payments. We love WooCommerce. Make sure you guys come check us out. Thank you.